Hey, welcome to the critically acclaimed, what's that? Oh, we're still not even acclaimed? I guess not. Welcome to Loose Change. I'm Jim Evans. Thanks so much for joining us. We've got a super show. I'm really excited about the guests we have for you. You want to hang around for sure. What's been going on lately? The Cleveland Browns have a new head coach. They've hired Buffalo defensive coordinator Mike Pettin. Now, the plan is that they're looking at this in 3 to 5 years. The plan is to look at it as 3 to 5 years, while Browns owner Jimmy Haslam is looking at 10 to 20 with good behavior. Speaking of behavior, Browns wide receiver Devon Bess, how about him? They signed him that big free agent contract. Then he's second in the league in dropped passes. Now he has off-the-field issues. Even his family is really upset with him. His niece recently got married, and he failed to make the reception. At least he's consistent. Now, playoff football's been good, too. I was watching Philadelphia, their game, and I noticed that their defense ran zero cover. Zero cover. You don't see that a whole lot. Although I once went to the Eagles in McDonald, there was no cover to get in there. So I had that experience. What else is going on? You know, we're into the new year. I kind of like to look back briefly at some interesting things from the previous year. I came across a list of most notable grandmothers of 2013. Most notable grandmothers. The top 3, Betty White, Laura Bush, and Bruce Jenner. Hey, it's Loose Change. Mark Brungard joins us next, so have some coffee. We'll be right back.
Armstrong Local Programming features our community like no one else. Meet your friends and neighbors at special events. Find the perfect pet. Celebrate our region's rich history or enjoy our natural wonders. Armstrong Local Programming is available online, on demand, and on your local Armstrong channel. Find the complete program schedule at ArmstrongOneWire.com. Local programming, exclusively from Armstrong. One Wire, infinite possibilities.
Welcome back to Loose Change, and I have the very good pleasure to be joined by a gentleman I've really gotten to know, and it's been my good fortune to get to know even better than I had previously. That is Mark Brungard, head football coach at Poland High School. Coach, thanks for being on the program. Taking a big chance here now. So, but you know, I was thinking about you and everything you've done academically, athletically. Your success in high school. As a student athlete, success as a student athlete at Youngstown State, successful, you know, as a coach on the sideline, successful in the broadcast booth, successful, you know, father and husband. What's the secret? What's the formula?
Wow. Well, thank you. I don't know if I'll be able to get out the door now with all that.
Well, that's okay.
Compliments and introduction, but I think the secret has been I've been blessed to. First off, have a foundation in my life from my parents, giving me a godly foundation of right and wrong, hard work, treating people right, and set me on a path that you know, led me to achieve well in school, like you said, and work hard there. And I was blessed with talent to play sports. My parents gave me the opportunities to play the youth sports, play the high school sports, and I grew up on a farm. And there were some interesting things that you learned about how to work hard and how to have faith and trust and, you know, plant crops and then hope the right weather happens and these crops grow and you make a harvest and you make money. And the farming way of life is really a faithful type of life when you think about what you have to rely on to make your living. So I had a good mix of things that I think set me on a course to where I am today. And, you know, it is centered around our faith, and I know my parents, that was important to us. In our upbringing, and centered around the importance of family and hard work, and, you know, doing your part and then trusting in the rest. And going on to college, you know, obviously a door was open for me to play at Youngstown State, and obviously being around a man like Coach Tressel, and his background influenced me greatly.
Sure. Yeah.
And then staying in the area by being hired at Poland to be able to teach and to coach and to continue to do what I love with sports and in that realm. You know, it's been a number of things, but I'd say faith, and I'd say family, and I'd say hard work have been the 3 fundamentals. Yeah, right then.
I don't even have a pen. But sometimes that works.
Yeah.
When you talk about Poland football, you guys have become a playoff machine. and obviously, you have put the team on the right track as it was previous to your arrival, but you've kept the team on the right track and moving forward in the right direction. And what has made that work? A lot of things that you just talked about, I assume.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about the consistency that has been achieved there. We've made the playoffs for 7 straight years. In the last couple, we've been able to advance. And to me, I think the next step is to get to a regional championship level, to win a region, to play at a state level. That's you always got to be looking to grow that thing. And like you said, I inherited a good program. Paul Julia, I thought, inherited a pretty good program that Rick Shepis inherited. So you look and you go back, and really you're just kind of building on the work that was done prior. It goes way back to the 70s when Dave Pavlansky won a ton of league championships before the playoff system was what it was. Reed Lamport, my mentor and co-pastor that I work with now and great friend, was there in the 80s, in some leaner years, frankly, but really I thought laid some foundations for Rick Shepis to Paul Julia, the state championship that I was able to assist on in '99. And then we started a family. My wife and I went to the lower levels, and then the door was opened again for me to take the job in '05. And it's been great. It's been challenging, but it's been a lot of work and a lot of fun. And yeah, we're very consistent right now. And I think success has breeded success there, to where the kids know what it takes to be victorious, to be successful. And it's way more, I hope, way more than just on Friday nights. It's how to be successful in life.
Yeah, and we talk about this a lot. There are teams and there are programs.
Yeah.
And there's a difference there, and you guys are the latter for sure.
I think in that word consistency alludes to a program. Anybody can have a group and be successful in a short term, maybe 1 or 2 years. But you look to those programs that can do it year after year. And I think you have to start them from a young age. I think it has to be the right community that values success and really is proud in all ways of what they do. And Poland's a great community for that. Their parents are great supporters of the athletic programs that we have. The kids buy in from a young age with the youth sports and the middle school and up through. I'm just very blessed to work where I work, and our staff has worked really hard, and we have smart kids. Our kids, we're able to change what we do year in and year out to fit their physical skill set, but mentally they have to be willing to change, and our kids do that.
That was my next question or my next statement in covering your teams as I have here now. Since you've taken over, your teams always play hard, always play smart.
Right, and I don't know if it's a perception that was ever there. Maybe when I was in high school, that Poland kids they're well off, and maybe they're not the toughest kids. And I've really found that to be the opposite to be true. Our kids are tough. Our kids play physical. They hit hard. They run hard, and they play fast. But they are smart. They take to adjustments really well, and we've always felt like we've been a good second half team because of that. We always see where our opponent is, having success, and then we got to make adjustments, and our kids have always done that pretty well.
You touched on having the opportunity to be at Poland, and you have great school and community support, don't you?
It's been outstanding. Our touchdown club is just awesome at generating funds that help the program. That clothe our kids with special things, feed our kids. When we travel, team dinners every week, and those type of things make a program. Yeah. And then you look at your lower levels, and you got to have people there that do it the right way and have the right perspective, make it fun for everyone, and not beat them down too much. And I think we've had that. We've consistently provided that, and it's kind of shown.
You've touched on several things already, but what would you say is your coaching philosophy?
Well, to me, I've always thought, football is important. It's not the thing, it's a thing. It's a tool that I think can assist young men in helping discover who they are, what their talents are, what their purpose is here. And I've always said the success of our program will be judged in 15 years when we see what kind of citizens they are, husbands, fathers, and workers, and contributors to our society. And I know that kind of sounds a little philosophic and pie in the sky, but I really believe that. I think if you are authentic with that, your kids realize this is important, but it's not the end all. I think your day-to-day approach has to match that. You have to go about it the right way, because kids will see through you on that. But I think that's been the key thing, is consistently demonstrating how to go about your business, how to work hard, how to treat people right, how to prepare to be successful, and then you go out and do it and not be surprised when it happens because you've done the right things along the way. And so that steady approach, I think, has been the key.
And I know you're such a competitor and you compete to win, but there are losses along the way, and everybody has to learn from that as well.
Well, I hope. I mean, that's just a part of life.
Yeah.
And we haven't won every game. And as I said earlier, every playoff that we've had, it ends in a loss, and that hurts. And it's hard to have your season end like that. But losses sometimes sober you up a little bit and help you learn when victories make you feel maybe too good about yourself. So, it's humbling, but at the same time, I think we look at our losses and feel like we really grew through those more than the wins that we had.
What was it like to play for Coach Tressel?
At the time, I didn't appreciate it like I think I would have now, being a coach and seeing the way he went about business. It was hard from the standpoint that he was a perfectionist. Now I was the quarterback and he was the quarterback coach. So he coached me personally, and he was on the offensive side of the ball. So he had defensive coaches that went a little over the edge and were more emotional, and he was that real methodical, very steady, very sometimes unemotional teacher. He was a math teacher by trade, So he taught the game. He really demanded perfection. He worked really hard. He made his staff work really hard. But he always brought in life lessons all the time. He always brought things back to remember who you are, worship somewhere, call your parents. Do those fundamental things that really keep you grounded on who you are as a person, knowing that would add to who you are as a football player. So those are the things I didn't appreciate at the time that I'm really, I think, coaching by now. And my philosophy, I think it matches a lot with what he did. But learned a lot, and it's certainly shaped where I'm at and where I'm going.
Well, you did some things down at YSU, and we'll talk more about that. We're going to take a quick break. It's Mark Brungard. It's Loose Change. Better hang around. We'll be right back.
Bigger smiles, louder cheers, longer talks. Enjoy the possibilities more than ever with Armstrong. Armstrong delivers the latest in television, on-demand, multi-room PVR, high definition. Zoom Internet has the speed and reliability you need for all your devices. And it's all backed by local award-winning customer service to keep you connected. Enjoy the possibilities with Armstrong.
Welcome back to Loose Change. I'm Jim Evans, along with Poland head football coach Mark Brungard. And at the break, we were talking about your experience at Youngstown State with Coach Tressel. And again, what were some of the things that you took from him that you're incorporating into your coaching style now?
Well, I think the way you coach, he was very meticulous, attention to detail. I'd always share how you could throw a touchdown pass in the game, and might have been the game winner, but the next day when he'd grade the film, he might give you a negative grade because your feet weren't right. Maybe mechanically you did something wrong. Maybe it was the wrong read, but he just believed in doing things the right way, and in the end, it would all work towards that championship level of play. So that was one thing that really stuck with me, and that was frustrating at times, but he didn't settle for anything less. I think that the way he communicated, always, from a little thing, using an example, to a big thing, to a life lesson. He would draw upon football analogies to life analogies and just try to show you how it all fit together, how we were all kind of on this journey together. He brought people from all walks of life, faith. I remember he would always make the team take a test during camp of every player, every coach, every assistant, every office aide personnel member in the organization, where they went to high school and college. And at the time, I'm like, why the heck do we got to remember this? But he believed in learning people's story a little bit, and that would help you down the road, just connect with that person, and made you feel part of everyone's, family. We were a family there, and he really promoted that. Just the way he stressed all three phases of the game. And that can get so cliche, right, Coach? Well, we got to win the special teams battle. But, I mean, if he practiced it, and he made our guys work really hard at it, from the defensive side, creating turnovers, the offensive side being able to run the football. And that made fans, a little uneasy at times. It's not as sexy as all the throws and the spread and everything that's happening today. But I still do that. I still, come out there with two tight ends and sometimes three running backs and chew up the clock and run the football and win the line of scrimmage. And I think overall that proves if you can kick the ball and run the football, you're going to win more games than you're going to lose. And so that's probably the things that made the most impression.
And I think you, from what I've seen, you've been flexible as well, though, to go into a lot of other variations.
Well, and even at the time I was there, Ray Isaac, my first year, was a great option running quarterback, and they ran the heck out of the option with him. And then Nick Cochran was there for 1 year, and Nick could throw it a lot more, and they threw it a lot more. And with me, it was a little bit of a mix. I was not as fast as Ray Isaac. We could throw it a little bit, and so they really tried to, and he still did with people after me. And you saw him at Ohio State. With Craig Krenzel and then with Terrell Pryor, and just matching.
Troy Smith.
Yeah, exactly. Winning a Heisman. So proving that you could really showcase the talents of the people you have, and of course you got to do that at our level too. We can't go out and just find another quarterback or a linebacker. You got to go with what you have, and every year you get a bag that's got different parts, and how you're going to make those parts fit. And he was great at doing that.
What was it like for you to play at that championship level as you did?
When you're in it, and I suppose it's the same today, even these guys preparing for the Super Bowl, when you're in it, it's just you get focused on, and he did a good job of that too. I think coaches that know how to do it, handle those moments. Yeah. You focus on what you can control. You try to block as many distractions as possible. That at the time was not like playing for a Super Bowl today where the media frenzy is. But and to my world, that was the biggest moment of my sporting career. It was on CBS at the time, 12 o'clock noon. Yep. So it was a big deal. And once the game started, it really was just another game. It really was. But, when I look back and I watch the game, I'm like, gee, I hope we win. And I'm watching the replay years later. Like, well, of course we won. But I get nervous watching the tape, like, wow, that was for a national championship. But at the time, you were just in the midst of another game, and preparing for Marshall, preparing for Boise State, and focusing on their people and focusing on what we're trying to do. And everything else about the big game just kind of was a blur. And maybe that was part of the way he coached, or maybe that was just the reality of being in it. But I think fans get more nervous. I know my parents couldn't even sit still, and because you don't have the control. But when you're in the midst of it, I guess you just block it out.
But gee, what an experience that was. I mean, there's so few people to get to be at the level where you're at, and then to take it that step further. I mean, it's such a big thing.
Yeah, and I was just driving here listening. They were on a sports channel talking about the 80s Cavaliers teams when they had Mark Price and Larry Nance and Craig Elo, but how Jordan shot probably changed the course of history for that Cavaliers franchise. They might have won a couple championships. It's not just how good you are, but it's when you're good. We had a great run at YSU, but at that time it was just perfect timing.
Right.
It was perfect timing. The mix of players that came together, the coaching staff. Randy Moss hadn't come to Marshall yet, because when he came to Marshall, they won a couple championships. So it's obviously being good, but it's when you're good. And I was just very fortunate to be there at a time when a number of players from our area were there, and really YSU just transformed the city. We just got behind the team so incredibly much. Just special memories, and for me to be a part of that. I'm just so thankful for it, because it could have been a lot of people, but it was me, so very thankful.
Do you think Tressel will coach again?
I think so.
Do you?
Yeah, and to him, he's coaching now. He's coaching kids in a different way. But I can't imagine him not giving another crack at it. I always thought he'd go back to Ball and Wallace and continue the Tressel legacy there, where his dad was. So I don't see him as a professional coach. I don't know that he'll go back into the big time arena. That craziness. But maybe Youngstown State, maybe Ball and Wallace. I don't know, but I do see him coaching again.
I assume that you not only had taken things from Coach Tressel, but other coaches that you played for and worked with and for along the way. Is that the case?
Yeah. I think we always do that in our professions, our careers, our lives, is take things from the people that we meet and know it was for a purpose. So even from my high school basketball. My high school basketball coaches, my high school football coaches, the people I coach with after college, coached under some people that I've learned a ton from. So, and then, we still try to better ourselves by going and learning from other coaches in our profession now. So that professional development, I think the minute you stop trying to learn and grow and get better at your craft, you might as well go do something else.
I learned from you working in the broadcast booth, Mark, and I, of course, for several seasons covering high school football, and I truly did. I learned a lot just listening to your analysis. You were great.
You're very kind. But to your point, I know you had a chance to work with Reed Lamport.
Yep.
And I've worked alongside him, and he's an awesome teacher of any sport. He won a state championship in softball, and he coached alongside me with football. And some people have a gift of just watching a young person perform a task, perform a skill, and just pick out what's right and what's wrong and convey it clearly, concisely. And he's one of the best I've ever been around. Probably as good as anybody I've ever been around at a high school, college level of teaching sport. So.
Back to YSU real quick, but I don't know if you're able to follow it as much now. Maybe you did at one time. Do you think the program will have the opportunity to be back where you guys were at?
I don't know. There's different variables today.
Yeah.
Than we had it. We were not in a conference. Right. We were not in the Gateway Conference or the Missouri Valley Conference now. But anyway, that league is an awesome league, and
yes,
I think it's been won one time since they joined in '97. In fact, when they won the national championship in '97, they didn't win the league. Tressel's fourth national title, I think they were second in the conference. And Coach Haycock, they won it once, but that's tough. The city, the dynamics of our area, the state of Youngstown, a little bit different, but I don't know. I'd sure like to see a few more local guys, join that mix than what they've been able to get down there. But I think it's certainly manageable, doable. I think the facility upgrades are incredible.
Yes, without a doubt.
What a young person sees when they come to campus today, the indoor, the student rec center, everything. The campus is just transformed. It's amazing. So I don't see why it can't happen.
What would you say are the biggest challenges facing high school coaches right now?
Right now, I think one is balancing time. It's a passion. It's that competitiveness, that adrenaline rush you get just can create an imbalance, I think, in your life. So that's always, to me, my personal thing is keeping a balance with family, keeping a balance in your career and other things. Coaching kids, it's not the same type of kid that it was 30 years ago. I think you have to be flexible. You have to coach the kids you have, and keep that in perspective as well. There's always going to be this debate about public versus private and that type of thing. I don't have any control over that, so I try not to stress about that and worry about that. Get my team as good as we can get, and if we're good enough, this year, I don't know if we were the best team outside of St. V's. They were the best team I felt in the state of Ohio of any division.
I think you're right.
And we happened to play in week 2 in the playoffs, and I felt like we played them pretty tough. But there was just no way we were going to beat that team. We played them 10 times. We weren't going to beat them. Outside of them, we might have been the best team in the state of Ohio in a public school sense, but they were special. So can't control that, can't worry about that, but keep a balance. And really, I think one of the other challenges today is the communication styles of our society. It's hard. I mean, everybody's an expert. Everybody watches, Sports Center and all these specials that they have, and kids, think they know the best things to do now because they're watching Chris Mortensen and Chris Berman and Chris Carter and all the experts on TV. And so how to communicate with these kids today, the texting world, the Facebook, the Twitter world, those are some challenges for me that I'm continuing to learn how to respond to and not fail.
Well, I don't think that's a problem. And of course, you have to put up with all of us, the
media obligations,
all that stuff. But that's all part of the deal now, and it's a year-round thing too, isn't it?
It is. The off season, you got to find good people that will help you in this. I have a great young man I've found, Mark Turnbull, to help our weight room program, and he's just done a great job because it is a 12-month job, no doubt about it. Recruiting-wise, you got to get your kids the idea that they're being looked at by scouts and have a chance to play at the next level if they're good enough. So there's a lot, but again, it's to me waking up every day knowing that you can make a difference in a young man's life. That's the bottom line. That's what drives you. And as long as you feel like you can do that, and anybody can do that. It's not just coaching football. You can do that. Anybody can do that. So as long as you feel like you can do that, then I think it's a reason to do what you do.
Well, unfortunately, we're out of time, but I can't thank you enough for your time, and it's great to see you, and I know it'll be here before we know it. We'll be back out there doing the football thing, so we'll look forward to that. Mark, thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Mark Brungard. We'll be right back. It's Loose Change. Stick around.
Home phone service from Armstrong. Armstrong Telephone delivers reliability you can't get with a cell phone. All your calling is one low monthly price. No confusing rate plan. Your favorite calling features are included. Check out the exclusive online management tools. Set call forwarding, do not disturb, and more. You can even have your voicemail sent to your email. For great savings, bundle television, telephone, and internet. Armstrong. One wire, infinite possibilities.
Welcome back to Loose Change. We're still rolling here, and the great Jerry B. from Sound Doctrine joins us now. You got a lot of things. First of all, it's great to see you.
Oh, it's great to see you too, and Happy New Year.
You as well. And you got a lot of things going on with Second Sundays.
Absolutely.
Explain what that is for our viewers and what's going on, what's coming up.
Second Sundays is a monthly jazz event that takes place down at the Tyler History Center, 325 West Federal Street, downtown Youngstown, right next door to Home Savings and Loan.
Okay.
Bill Lawson and his team have been wonderful for us. Our dream, our goal is to make downtown Youngstown the mecca for high quality jazz. And we start February 9th and roll through November. Our 2014 season this year begins with a bang. We have two wonderful things. First of all, there's a new time at Second Sundays, 5 to 8. New price, $20 a person, $35 per couple. We have great, fine foods presented by Guy's Barbecue.
So that's food and show, dinner and show.
Food show, as well as a wine presentation from Valley Vino. Brian Fry comes down every month, showcases his great, excellent wines. Wonderful, absolutely wonderful event. This month's headliner is Philip K. Jones of Cleveland, Ohio. You like Chick Corea, you like Thelonious Monk, you like Herbie Hancock, you like Duke Ellington. This guy does it all. Him and his trio from Cleveland are going to rock the place. We have two incredible things I want to tell you about, Jim. First of all, we have Southern Park Mall's Chick-fil-A Charity of the Month. Derek Emerson, who's the owner-operator of Southern Park Mall Chick-fil-A, has partnered with us to bring great honor to local charities. We've always supported local charities in the past. Derek Emerson has really stepped it up a few notches. We're honoring Sojourner House for the month of February. You know, they have a wonderful domestic violence program. What happens is you go to secondsundays.net and you print out a voucher. You can print out 1,000 of them, 100 million of them, however you want to do it. On select days, you take it to Chick-fil-A and they will donate 15% of every sale to a Sojourner House.
Great.
Happy about that. Also, we have a high school jazz appreciation initiative. You couldn't say that 3 times fast when we were off camera.
No, I can't.
Yeah, but it's a jazz appreciation initiative, and this is for high school students. I almost couldn't say it. This is for high school students with a focus toward jazz as a career.
Wow.
We are helped in this process by Dr. Alton Merrill from YSU. Excellent. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a couple students from South Range School in February. We're going to come down, they're going to perform, and then they're also going to do a selection with Philip K. Jones at the end. So every month we're going to have high school students come down, perform a song of their own, and also perform with the headliners. Isn't that fantastic?
That is tremendous, for sure.
Parents, band directors, go to secondsundays.net and they can find out all the information to get their students on the stage at Second Sundays.
Fantastic. Well, buddy, unfortunately, we're out of time.
Understood.
Great stuff, and we'll have you back in and give us an update on how it's all going. That's going to do it for this edition of Loose Change. For Jerry B., Mark Brungard, Greg Roten, I'm Jim Evans. We'll catch you next time, so make sure you check us out.